Hello fellow woodworkers and welcome to this week's edition of the Garage Workshop 10-minute tool review. This week we're going to be taking a little look at some of my Dewalt purchases. Roll the intro. Okay, so recently in the UK, I'm not sure if it's the same in Europe and around the world, if anyone's watching this YouTube channel around the world, but recently we had Father's Day in the United Kingdom and I was very lucky. My two stepdaughters gave me some presents, both of which were made by Dewalt, and I previously had this Dewalt Gilet body warmer that I've had for quite a while and I've never done a review of it, and I just thought it might be time for me to do something different to the usual reviews I do, which tend to be on either Ferrex or Workzone or Parkside products. So I'm just going to go through the three things that I've got here and what I think of them. Some you'll recognise, for example these tool trays, I've got quite a lot of them. And I did a review of some of the things at Christmas that I got, and I had the biggest sort of T-stack set of Dewalt storage, and I did a review of that there. I'll put a link to that video here. It's well worth watching if you haven't seen it. And after a long time, I've decided to finally retire my work shoes, my steel toe caps work shoes. In my videos, you might have seen I wear a pair of what looks like white trainers. They're actually sight work shoes. They're steel toe capped. They are fantastic. I've had them for 4 years. Haven't worn them a huge amount until I started the YouTube channel, but a really good product, and I got them from Screwfix, and at the time I bought them they were on a ridiculous sale, like £19 I think they were, and they've lasted me a long time. But it is time to invest in a new one, and one of the things that I discovered about my site when I've been working in the garage, particularly in the winter, is they're not very warm because they are a trainer stroke shoe. They're not an ankle boot. So I've upgraded to a pair of Dewalts. Now there is a big debate about tools. You'll know if you follow this channel, I'm sure you follow other woodworking channels across the internet. There's a big debate about tool manufacturers, you know, Milwaukee, Dewalt, Makita, Festool, about the quality of their products compared to the quality of other products. Now, as you know from my channel, I'm a big fan of supermarket, Workzone and Parkside tools and the cheaper brands, but I'm not a professional woodworker. I know, despite my videos, I'm not a professional woodworker, and for me the biggest cost associated with my woodworking projects and running a channel like this is actually providing the wood at the moment. So I wouldn't go out and spend £150 on a Dewalt jigsaw, for example, when I can get an equivalent one from Parkside that probably does 60 or 70% of what the Dewalt one does for literally less than half the price. And I think as you get better and as you need better machinery, then that's the time to upgrade. But like many of you, I'm just a home DIYer and I don't need to have really expensive tools. In fact, I think the most expensive tool I've got is my Evolution table saw, and actually it's a good table saw and it does a lot more than the rival Dewalt one that's roughly the same price but with a lot less features. So I went for one which fitted my budget, but one which did a lot of what I wanted it to do. Apologies, you can hear the chickens. So let's have a look at all three of these items one by one and I'll give you my opinion on what they're like. Okay, so the first product is this. It's the Dewalt Mason boot. Now, I bought these, well, I had these boots bought for me. I knew they were being bought, and they were purchased in Costco. Now, I don't know if any of you are Costco members or use Costco, but there's quite a lot of Dewalt items that come through Costco. It's not the only place to buy them, but quite often you can get them in there. And the reason why I went for these ones is, number one, they've got a sort of nubuck leather upper on the top. It's a really nice feel. And my experience of having nubuck products before is it doesn't tend to absorb spillages, and as you all know, working in a workshop or DIYing at home, we get lots of those. It's also got a really nicely constructed upper. The boot is very solid around the ankle support area. It's got a really nice rubber sole as well, and it does say that the sole is slip resistant, oil resistant and acid resistant, which will soothe teeth, but it has got a replaceable element. This piece on the bottom, the actual black bit, I'll try and give you a close-up of this in a minute. That can actually be replaced. If it ever wears out, you are apparently able to take that off and put a new one on. It's got a really, really nice steel toe cap, and it says it can withstand pressure of up to 200 joules, which I have no idea what that means, but to me, I think that sounds pretty good. Really, really comfortable boot, and the main reason why I wanted these Dewalt ones, I did try on a few different types of work shoe before I plumbed for this one, and what I liked in particular is it's quite wide. I unfortunately have very wide feet, and this boot is really wide, much like my sight shoes that I've got now. It's really wide and it's nice and comfortable, incredibly padded throughout, and a really nice strong construction to the boot. Now these boots, you can get them in lots of different places, but as I said, I got mine in Costco. Now the normal retail price of these boots is £39.99, and I'm filming this on the first weekend in July, 2nd of July I think it is today, and I've been to Costco today, this morning, not to get these boots, and they're still in there and they're still on sale. Now, at the moment they've got a sale on, they're £32.99 I think, so £7 off what would be the normal price. But to be honest, I don't think the normal price for work boot, you know, £40 is a lot of money for a very well constructed boot. The quality of the stitching around the eyelets is really, really good. As I said, they're really padded and nice and comfy inside, and they're quite warm. I've already tried them on, so I'll put them on in a minute and you can sort of see them in action. But a really, really nice set of boots. Again, you can spend a lot of money on safety workwear. You could get really cheap boots, and I certainly know that in Lidl and Aldi they've had their own sort of range of boots like this, and actually look very similar. So you can plump for one of those if you wanted to, but for me, knowing how much I use the workshop and knowing how much a good quality boot is, if this lasts me 4 years, that's the equivalent of £10 a year, isn't it? So really, really happy with paying that amount of money, and it's something that, you know, you really, really don't want to be buying very regularly. So this is the Dewalt Mason work boot. So the second Dewalt item we're going to look at today is this. Now, I was born in the 70s. To me, this is called a body warmer, but apparently it's a gilet these days. It is a Dewalt Riverton body warmer, and I've had this about 12 months. I was going to do a review of it earlier in the year, but I never got around to it, to be honest. But it is a fantastic little body warmer. It's waterproof, it says. Obviously it gets rain on it. If you get out in the rain, it absorbs the water, but it doesn't come soak all the way through to the skin. It's very well made. It's made of polyester, I think, but the side panels here are in particular really, really good. I don't know if you can see, there's lots of play. It's like elasticated, and there's a lot of play in them. It's got 3 really, really deep pockets, 2 on each side, and again, high quality pockets. You know, sometimes with workwear, the quality of the pockets isn't as good, and sometimes you end up getting holes in them and things drop into the lining. Not ideal at all, but these ones are really good. It's also got a little top pocket, which I never thought in a million years I would use it, to be honest, but I've used it tons, and it's very, very deep. It stretches pretty much the entire inside. It's also got this sort of raisable collar, which is fur lined, which is really particularly good because it helps keep your neck nice and warm in the winter. So putting on, this is a UK extra large. I bought it specifically extra large. I'm sort of a large stroke extra large person, but I bought it specifically extra large because I wanted a little bit more room on it, because this effectively is the top layer of my other layers when I'm working in the winter. So if I'm out here, I'll typically either have some sort of thermal top on, or 2 or 3 layers, a hoodie, maybe even a coat, and this goes on the top, which is why I went for the extra large. But as you can see, there's plenty of room in it at the side, and if you need to, if you want to fit it over, it has got lots of give all around. It is incredibly warm. I mean, just putting it on now, a few seconds I've had it, I can feel it start to warm up, and it's not a massively warm day today, but it is incredibly warm. It is a really, really nice gilet, nice piece of kit. Now, I bought this in Costco. At the moment, they're not part of the Costco sort of options or sort of their special buys. They do come and go. I've seen it in there 2 or 3 times since I actually bought it. But you can buy these Riverton gilets stroke body warmers at Screwfix, and I think they're $32.99. I'll put a link in below. When I bought this, it was about $28.99. I think it was a little bit cheaper than that, but I've had it a while. But it's a really, really nice piece of kit. And if it's a sort of semi-cold day where it's not too warm, not too cold, it's just right to keep your body sort of nice and warm while your arms are still cool. And obviously you've got full mobility in your arms. So if you're in the market for something like this, I would highly recommend it. Very well made, very warm, a really nice product. So this is number 2 in my look at Dewalt products. Okay, so the last product in this little Dewalt review are these. This is the Dewalt Pro Organiser storage system. Now, when you buy this is a joint packet. You can buy these individually, but I bought these together in one package. Well, I didn't. They got bought for me for Father's Day, and it includes a deeper tray, as you can see there, and also a thinner one. So I'll just open it up and show you what's on the inside of them. They're fantastic products. I've got a number of these already, and you've probably seen in my other videos. I use them to keep my screws in, and when I built the cart that went, the storage device that went on the end of my worktop, it was in there. So you get 2 of these Dewalt units. Now, they've got a stacking system at the side, which you can see here, which allows you to connect them to each other. And it also provides a lock so that you can lock them closed. So as I said, you get a deep one like this, and inside it all metal clasps, aluminium clasps, and inside it you get a number of these trays. Now you get sort of single size trays which are like this. They're nice quality, solid plastic, not cheap and not nasty, and you can see they're very difficult to bend, and a bigger, deeper tray like so. Now just be careful if you buy these, because when I bought them first of all I thought this folded flat. It doesn't, so just be careful if you do buy those. Nice strong lid, and again see-through panel. So I've got one of those little handheld label machines, and I put the number or the type of screw that's in all of these. Now the metal latch handles on them are really, really quite strong. They're good quality, nicely made, aluminium, so obviously they won't rust, but a really nice sized one. It does say they're IP53 water resistant, but I can tell you I've left these out for hours and hours at a time. They've been in really heavy rain, no problems and no issues with them at all. So that's the larger one. Now there is a smaller one that comes in the set, which is actually also very useful, and I've got this in my storage that I took off the side of my worktop and I've put over there now, and I've got them in there, and again exactly the same composition as the bigger one, but just obviously a little bit smaller. Same in terms of the tray sizes, so you've got the smaller trays which are exactly the same size, so these could fit in there if you wanted them to, but obviously they'll be lower, and you've got the larger, thicker sort of double tray size. Again, everything the same, same aluminium latches on them, and the same connect system. Now if you wanted to, you could connect multiples of these, you know, 7, 8, 9, if you chose to do that, if you were carrying them around, or perhaps if you have one of those like trolleys and you were carrying them around a site or moving them around, definitely you can join them together. I don't on mine, and I tend to find as well that these ones are quite handy. If I've got 2 of them, which I have got, I tend to take out the smaller ones and just have the bigger storage tubs in here. So in the other one of these, I've got 2 of these. One of them is just all tubs like that, and just a couple of little ones in the middle. Now these as a set they're normally $34.99. I'll put a link in the description to them. They're normally $34.99, and they recently had them in the sale and they were £29.99. They had a £5 off of them, and again I bought them in Costco, but You can buy these in most places. I think you can even buy these in the big box stores like B&Q, places like that. You can buy them on Amazon, all those sorts of places. But just before we finish this, I just wanted to compare something for you. Now, Dewalt are not the only company that make this system. This is identical to the Stanley Flatmax tray. Now, if I hold them together, those of you that are observant enough will realise there is virtually no difference between these two products. This is the Stanley one. It looks identical. It's got a very similar clasp latch system on the side. It is very similar. This obviously is the Dewalt one, but there are some very specific changes. The Stanley Flatmax ones are cheaper, not hugely, but they are a little bit cheaper than the Dewalt ones. But I'm going to tell you why I prefer the Dewalt ones. Now, I bought the Stanley ones thinking they're all made in the same factory in China. I'm sure they'll be identical, but actually they're not. And this is the first reason why. The latch system on this Dewalt one is not made of metal like the Dewalt one. It's made of a high grade plastic. Now, if you were to drop this, you run the risk of the plastic shattering or cracking. You're not going to get that with the Dewalt one at all. So that's the first difference. The second difference is this system on the side, the rubber, the plastic used on here is nowhere near as good quality as the one that's on here. They might look the same. If I can lift them up a little bit, you can see they might look the same, but they're not. The Dewalt one is much thicker and much sturdier. This one feels a little bit sort of plasticky and brittle. And when you open them up, again, they have exactly the same configuration, but these on the inside are much squidgier. And I don't know if it's just the grade of plastic or what, but they are not as firm, not as rigid as the one that comes in the Dewalt. Now, it might be that they're made in the same factory, just to a slightly different spec, which is what I suspect, but not quite the same quality on the inside. And the only reason that I mention that is these Stanley Flatmax ones are pretty much exactly the same price as the Dewalt ones. I think they're a few pound cheaper. In my opinion, it's not worth it. The class, the build quality of this just feels a little bit better than the Stanley one. And I'm not criticising Stanley tools. To be honest, I don't have a single Stanley tool, I don't think, at all. And this unit that I've got, this storage, Flatmax storage, is absolutely fine. But if I was buying them again, as when I got these, I wouldn't consider the Stanley one because I don't think that there's a lot of value in what the difference is. I think the Dewalt one is a bit more sturdy. So if you're in the market for some storage, the Dewalt Pro Organisers get my thumbs up. Okay, so that is the end of this Dewalt 10-minute tool review. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please don't forget to like and comment. It's really important that the channel gets more likes, because as I said in the last video, I'd love to get to 500 subscribers. I think at the time of making this, I think we've got 400, so please like, please comment, and also in the comments give me your views on Dewalt tools. Do you have them? Do you have any of the products here? What do you think of them? Do you have the Stanley Flatmax? What do you think? So please leave me some comments. I love all the comments. I read them all, reply to all of them. If this is your first time at the Garage Workshop, thank you so much for watching the video. Please can I ask you to subscribe, like and comment. If you are a regular viewer, thank you very much. I really appreciate you continuing to watch my content. Just a little bit of an update on some future projects coming up. At the moment, I'm trying to source a really nice piece of wood for a decorative bowl that I want to make on my Parkside lathe, but actually getting blanks for using on the lathe at the moment is proving quite difficult. And I've got a couple of interesting woodwork projects coming up, including a garden gate and a new cage for my incredible tortoise Sheldon. So there's some videos that are coming up in the future. Please stick with the channel. I hope you have a fantastic week. I'll catch you next time. Bye, fellow woodworkers.